So just a little backgrounder initially on Zapata and who we are. Some of you know who we are already. We are a Harvard spinout almost 5 years ago now that is concentrated on software particularly. And so we have a little bit more color to add to some of the background that Elliot had given about intellectual property that can be very specific to software. And there are many hardware companies and hardware device companies and control companies involved in the QED-C, but oftentimes there are, even in those cases, software assets, software IP, and firmware particularly, or control software. And so we want to focus on those things as well from our perspective. So our purpose at Zapata is to solve the world's most computationally complex problems with quantum and other big compute, meaning TPUs, CPUs, GPUs, whatever it is, of course, including QPUs. But we have a perspective that it's a combination of all of those technologies to get all the different maths you need to get right in a solution, in a full solution. So that's what we do. And we have a product that integrates all of those things. A key part of this, since we are a software business, is our intellectual property portfolio on some of the key algorithms. And as Elliot mentioned, from our perspective, even if some of these things aren't going to run on a fault-tolerant computer for another 10 years, the patents are good for 20 years. So 10 years from now, you might be thinking back retrospectively and saying, why didn't I patent that? And that would be a very bad place to be if you've got competitors who did. So a second thing I'd like to point out, there are rumors and myths out there floating about that you can't patent an algorithm. Well, you can't patent math, but you can patent an algorithm, and there are ways to do it properly so that it's actually valid and enforceable and all of those things. So I'd like to kind of erase that myth that's out there for people, because that I think could be quite dangerous to companies, because as Elliot mentioned, this is how other companies look at a software company. One of the ways that they do diligence is to see, what is their intellectual property portfolio like? Copyrights, trade secrets, and then also patents, obviously. So you can see our patent portfolio here. It's pretty formidable. It's one of the top portfolios of gate model quantum algorithm patent families in the world, we believe. And it's up there when we're monitoring this with the likes of Google and IBM. So that gives you, if you're a software company, and you have a portfolio like this, permission to play at the table and things like Elliot mentioned. It helps you with trading horses when you have to, or patent pools and other things. It's not necessarily that you're going to sue people with it, but it does give you a nice defensive and position at the table. And then I'll turn it over, I think, to Johnny to think about some of the actual issues here, though, with the patent office when dealing with these software patent applications that we have.
Thanks, Christopher. Yeah, so in dealing with the patent office, one of the things you should be aware of is the fact that the patent office is limited in their technical expertise. And as you saw in Elliot's graph, right, with an increasing number of patents, right, the patent office is at this point sort of being overwhelmed with the ability to examine all of these patents in a meaningful way. And so, some of the dangers are the fact that the patent office may accept patents, very broad patents that shouldn't get through. On the other hand, right, they may lack the technical expertise to understand the novelty of something that is patentable. And another issue, right, is in the very interdisciplinary world of quantum, right? Sometimes categorizing these things is like putting a square peg in a round hole, right? So these are in particular the categorizations for the USPTO's quantum patents. And as you can see, you can imagine if you had a superconducting device that was especially good for, quantum error correction, right? Where would that go, right? And who would examine it? And so some of these things are really unclear. Thankfully, there is one program which the QED-C is helping to provide, and we have provided a little bit of training for at the Patent Office, called the Patent Examiner Technical Training Program. And essentially, this is just an opportunity for you to give technical talks to help train the staff. They will keep those videos. They actually share them, I think, with the Canadian and Mexican patent offices as well. And so I highly recommend if you participate in this program or join the QED-C efforts to provide the patent office with some training. Thanks.